Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the ancient art and, well, spiritual science of Orthodox Christian preaching, a discipline called homiletics. We're going to look at what it is, why it's done, and uncover a preparation method that, let me tell you, might just surprise you. So, let's start with this absolutely incredible idea from one of history's most famous preachers, St. John Chrysostom, who was nicknamed the Golden Mouth. This quote really gets to the heart of why, in the Orthodox tradition, a sermon is seen as so much more than just a speech. It's viewed as a powerful, genuinely world-changing event. All right, with that powerful idea in mind, what exactly is homiletics? Let's unpack this core concept. At its root, the term comes from Greek words like homilia, which means something like conversation or to be in company with. But in practice, its meaning goes way deeper than just a simple chat. The official definition calls it both a science and an art. Now, that might sound like a bit of a contradiction, right? How can something be a structured, rule-based discipline and a creative act at the very same time? Well, let's dig into that. See, on the one hand, it's a science. It's got a structure, it has rules, and there's a systematic method that involves some really deep study. But then, on the other hand, it's an art. It needs practical skill, wisdom, and creativity to truly connect with people and, as one source beautifully puts it, to buy the heart of the listeners. It's all about transformation, not just an information dump. Okay, so if that's the what about the why? What's the ultimate purpose of an Orthodox sermon? It goes way beyond just sharing information or some moral lessons. It's about guiding people towards a really profound transformation. The central goal is this concept called theosis, and this is a big one. It basically means deification, or the journey of becoming united with God, of actually partaking in the divine nature itself. As the early church father St. Athanasius so boldly put it, the purpose is deeply, deeply transformational. The sermon, then, isn't just a talk about God. It's meant to be a tool that actively guides listeners on this path toward that union with Him. And you know, this journey towards theosis isn't just some abstract idea. It's built on a foundation of key spiritual practices. It involves metanoia, which is a turning of your spirit towards God, a life that's centered on the Eucharist, and a deep, personal life of prayer. These practices aren't just topics for sermons. They are the path. Okay, so what really makes an Orthodox sermon distinct? What are the key ingredients that set it apart? As you can see, there are several defining features. It's Trinitarian, incarnational, and sacramental. But a really crucial one is that it's also ecclesiastical and patristic. What that means is it doesn't just rely on the Bible alone, but on centuries of wisdom interpreting Scripture through what's known as the mind of the Church. And this here illustrates that patristic element. Preaching is seen as being part of a 2,000-year-old conversation. A preacher isn't just supposed to offer their own hot take, but to draw on the massive, accumulated wisdom of figures like the one you see here, all to understand and explain Scripture in a way that guides people on that path to theosis. This brings us to something that is absolutely central to Orthodox thought, the idea that the character of the preacher is just as important, maybe even more important than the sermon they deliver. It's not seen as a job you do, it's a calling, a vocation that really demands a certain kind of life. The idea is that the message has to be lived before it can ever be effectively preached. This 4th century quote just perfectly captures it. In this tradition, theology isn't just academic knowledge you get from a book. It's understood to be the fruit of a lived spiritual experience. So a true theologian, and by extension a true preacher, has to be, first and foremost, a person of prayer. So, what this all means is that qualities like a deep life of prayer, genuine humility, and a sincere effort to actually live out the gospel, well, they're considered non-negotiables for anyone who steps into the pulpit. It's the messenger's own life that gives any weight to the message. So, let's bring all of this together. How does this deep spiritual understanding actually translate into the practical preparation of a sermon? This preaching pyramid gives us a fantastic visual breakdown of the whole process. And what's truly fascinating, what's really wild, is how it allocates the preacher's time and energy. Just take a look at this. The actual delivery of the sermon, that's just the tiny tip of the iceberg at a mere 5%. The vast majority of the work is completely unseen. A full half of the time is dedicated purely to prayer, and another third goes to study and writing. Practice makes up the rest. So, ultimately, the sermon isn't just something that's written, it's literally prayed into existence. In this view, the quality of the message, its power, its effectiveness, is believed to depend directly on the spiritual state and the prayerful preparation of the messenger. And this leaves us with a final question to think about. In our fast-paced, information-saturated world, just filled with digital noise, what is the power of a message that's born not from all that noise, but from silence? It's definitely something to consider. Thanks for joining this explainer.